Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, NXT makes their way to Chicago and debut on the CW channel. However, this particular day is very, very special because we have various title matches. We have the NXT Women's title, we even have, of course, the NXT title, and various other cool matches as well. So we will see what happens throughout the entirety of this event. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing two ChocoPro events. The first one is 398 that took place on the 23rd of September in Itabashi Green Hall, and this one is, of course, in called We Are ChocoPro, where they have an actual ring instead of the mat like they do in Ichigaya Square. But however, in 399, they actually head to Ichigaya Square for several matches as well. And then, of course, we move on with our very interesting review, and this one is all the way from Thailand. Yeah, folks, there is a promotion in Thailand. SetUp Thailand Pro Wrestling. They do have a bit of an alliance with New Japan and other promotions in the Pacific, Asian Pacific. But this one features, of course, talent from Tokyo Pro Wrestling, for example, Pamada Juku and Raku, and of course, all the way from NOAH, Keno. So there's going to be a lot of good matches. But I want to apologize because certain things I couldn't get them right on my notes, but I'll explain later. Then we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do, of course, discussion videos. We talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions are set aside. It's time to rock and roll. So let's begin with our very first review, and this is from ChocoPro in their big show, and of course called We Are ChocoPro. Okay, ChocoPro, this is number 398. Now, this is one of their bigger events. They're not doing their shows down in Ichigaya Square. Well, they normally will, but this is in a venue called the Itabashi Green Hall. It's kind of like a convention, but there's plenty of rooms in this. I mean, there's plenty of other wrestling events going on around that area. I've seen it with DDT Pro Wrestling before. But anyway, this particular event took place on the 23rd of September. Now, let me give you guys a little story what happened with ChocoPro. As you know, they just had their recent final event as Got to Move. They're no longer going by that name. They decided to just officially go by ChocoPro Pro Wrestling. Basically, it was something that it was very unexpected by the founder herself, Emi Sakura. So they decided to do that. So they will do events like of course, in Shikiba or Shinjuku. Of course, their big show they did last time was in Corkin Hall. Don't know when they will be doing it again, but however, this is one of their much bigger shows. So let's get started with the event. As it started out with the performance with Mei Shiruga's performance. She's been accompanied by both Chiko Shikawa and Maya Yotsuba. However, Emi Sakura showed up, so I don't know what they talked about, but that's how it ended right there in that part. Now, our first match, we have the newly rookie Kaho Hiromi taking on, of course, the de facto leader of Colors. Well, you can guess that this match was going to fall in favor of the Saki since she has years of experience in wrestling, while Kaho, who is still very young and she's still learning and everybody loves her, she actually lost when she ended up being submitted by Saki. So that's pretty much it, but I enjoy watching Kaho because she's very adorable. I mean, I feel like she's more deadlier than Mei Shiruga. Anyway, our next match, we have a very interesting tag match. We have um, this Yuki Kanazaki. I think he's from Gambari. I'm not sure. He teams up with Hiroya Yawada. They take on Tokiko Kirihara and Shin Suzuki. Nothing too significant about this match in every way possible. But however, this match ended with Tokiko picking up the win on Hiroyi. Just like that, it was over. Hiroyi was the factor of her least of experience in the wrestling ring, so that kind of played out pretty well for her. Now our next match, it's a bit of a, how do I say, we got the guys from Baka Gaijins and others representing Baka Gaijins. We have Sayaka, Masahiro Takanashi, Antonio Honda, and Chris Brooks. They take on Soy from, well, you can say they Emi Sakura teamed up with the people from Evolution. We have Soy, one of the regular girls, Black Mensuri, who serves not only as a wrestler but as a referee in Evolution, and of course the general manager of Evolution, Shuji Ichikawa. So basically that's how it is. So Emi Sakura teamed up. Now, however, you will look at certain wrestlers that may have the experience to pick up the win, but however, it was Sayaka who made the biggest surprise. She was the one who pinned Emi Sakura. Basically, the student has finally beaten the teacher. Now, I don't know if when was the last time those two have ever face-to-face, one-on-one, which was very interesting. But that's pretty much what we did know. But I can't wait to see what Sayaka's plans. I have seen her, how much she has grown up. But yeah, so she has grown significantly. Our next match, we have a singles competition. We have Miya Yotsuba taking on Rina Yamashita. So, of course, this was going to be a tough battle for Miya due to the fact that Rina is a tough individual to grasp because, she is an expert in death matches, which, of course, this was not a death match. It was just a straight-up regular match. But, however, Rina Yamashita applied a lariat, which allowed her to pick up the win. Now, our next match, this is for the Asia Dream Tag Team titles. We have, of course, Mochi Natsumi and Hiragi Kurumi, members from Prominence. They face against the tag champions Chiko Shikawa and Sayaka Obihiro. So, of course, now, however, when it comes to Kurumi and Natsumi, you know that they are the toughest individuals since they are members of Prominence. So that kind of plays out in that fashion. But however, Obi was able to pick up the victory for her team when she pinned Natsumi, and just like that, it was over. They retained the belts. Now our next match, our main event, is the Super Asia Championship. Miyuki Takase is the challenger. She faces against Mei Shiruga. Of course, this was a tough challenge for May because, as you know, May has to put up a brave face knowing that she has finally reached where she needed to be. People have often said for a while now, for a couple years, when was she going to be the ace? I mean, people have been asking for it for years, ever since Riho actually left for AEW. But nonetheless, she was able to pick up the win when she pinned Takase, and just like that, it was over. And then they celebrated. I couldn't tell if it was either a birthday or anniversary for Shuji Ishikawa, but nonetheless, just like that, it was over. So I think that's pretty much it. What we have for this ChocoPro event. Now let's go on with the next one, which is $3.99. Okay, as we continue with more with ChocoPro, this is number 399, and this took place on the 29th of September. Now, this was in Ichigaya Square, the one with the brown mat, anybody asked. The last one I did review was in Itabashi Green Hall, which is one that has wrestling ring capability. But yes, that's what it was. And of course, as the show opened up, Balinaki gave his lowdown and information, what's going on, and that's how it went. Our first match, of course, features Kaho Iromi teaming up with Hiroyo Yawada, taking on Tokiko and Emi Sakura. Now, however, this is a very interesting thing. Kaho and Hiroyi are, in fact, two of the least experienced wrestlers. I mean, you look at Tokiko, who's been trained under Emi Sakura, and she's part of the fourth or fifth generation of wrestlers that were trained under Emi Sakura. And of course, Emi Sakura being the kind of like the matriarch of the entire family, was involved. However, this match ended by submission on both women when they put both Kaho and Hiroi in a submission move, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have Shin Suzuki, Masahiro Takanashi, and Antonia Honda facing off Nonaka Seto, Chiko Shikawa, and Sayaka Obihiro. So, this is a very interesting development. Those who know this, Shin Suzuki is facing against the tag team champions. Those who know this, Shin had to forfeit the belt after he got injured last year. And I'll get to that by the end of this review. But it was interesting. However, it was Shin Suzuki who picked up the victory onto Nonaka Seto with the backslide. So that puts that out pretty well, and maybe in a conversation. But like I said, we'll get to that in a bit. Now, our main event, we have Miya Yatsuba and Sayaka facing off Mei Suga and Emi Sakura. So, yeah, she had to pull double duty for this one in case anybody asked. But many of you probably ask, why would Emi Sakura team up with Mei Suga? Well, just like I said with Tokiko, Emi would train Mei. And that played out pretty well. Of course, they both have two different devious minds, but it always plays out pretty well. But however, it was, of course, the inside cradle by Mei Suga onto Miya that allowed her to pick up the win. Now, for our Junkin tournament, I wasn't too sure how this was going to be, but our winner is none other than Sayaka. Now, during the post-show, I did mention earlier about Shin Suzuki. As you know, last year, Shin Suzuki, him and Chonchiru won the Asian Dream Tag Team title, but due to a circumstances where he actually got injured, the injury was so severe that, of course, Chon and Shin had no other choice but to relinquish the belts. And now that he's exercising the right to challenge for the belt. Obvious reason he never lost the belts, and two, he won in a match where it involves them and that kind of plays out well. However, that doesn't end there well. Sayaka issued a challenge for, of course, the Super Asia Championship. So that is something that's going to happen. Now, those matches will take place later on. as you know, I mentioned this particular episode is number 399, and we're heading close to 400. So it's a 2-day event. So let me pull up what I did know recently before. Um, let me pull it up. I'm just. It's on my phone. I'm trying to find that. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. All right. So there is going to be a 2-day event taking place involving this, and I believe. Okay, day one is going to feature the Asian Dream, the Asian Dream tag team titles. Of course, Chi and Obi will defend it against Shin and Chon, which is something that, of course, is going to be involved. And of course, day two of the 400, Mei Suruga will defend the Super Asia Championship against Sayaka. So that's pretty much it. I think that could happen this weekend, but we'll see until then. But for now, we'll end things here with ChocoPro and move on with, of course, SetUp. Hey, SetUp Thailand Pro Wrestling. Now, before I proceed, yes, there is a promotion based out of Thailand. That's why I keep saying, you know, various promotions. You know, these are promotions that are not big, but they're getting bigger in their own in their own way, due to the fact that yes, there's a promotion based in Thailand. So this one has a deep connection with a particular promotion many of you know, and I just recently talked about them, and that is ChocoPro. It appears the promoter does have a bit of a connection with Emi Sakura, since Got to Move back then was part of the part of Thailand. And then they moved their operation back to Japan, that sort of thing. But however, first things first, before I proceed, I want to apologize because thing is, I did not get any information on the event like I would have hoped. So basically, I had to try to wing it in some ways. Uh, this information did not came from Cage Match. I would have thought it was there because it did not. So we'll see how it goes. But however, this particular event happened um, on the 28th. I don't know how to pronounce it right. It's called Chaophraya Voyage. I mean, I don't know how to say it. I don't speak Thailandese or whatever. But anyway, uh, those who know this, they do have like one of those kind of like J-pop type singings in Thailand, but this time they got a special treat. I did mention, if you guys remember, um, Raku was not in Japan at the time. While Tokyo Super Wrestling had an event, she was there in Thailand at the same time. So she decided to play her theme. You know, um, many, if you guys know this, many of the Miyu Watanabe has her own theme. So does she. So yeah, she did that. So that's pretty much what happened. Now our first match, there was these three guys that look like they're high schoolers. I'm not sure, called Krupoi, Kevin Wang, and Pon Hub. I don't know. I don't know much. I don't remember. I haven't did a review on these guys on this promotion for almost a year or so. I don't know, but yeah, the match was pretty good. But however, the match ended with, of course, since it was a three-way, anything's predictable. Anything could happen. But it was Krupoi who pinned Pornhub when he was Pornhub when he was unable to do, when he applied, of course, the O'Connor roll on Wang, but he was launched onto him, and just like that, it was over. Kind of like similar to what Saki Kashima did with Maika and Sayaka Kurara. Now, our next match, we have Sage Matthews versus Beetal Hansen. I don't know much about those two, but the match was okay. Not the match, but it ended with Beetle picking up the win when he pinned Sage, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have a bit of an intergender match. We have Jenny versus Mamanoth, who's one of the most popular wrestlers there. Um, Nothing too significant. Pretty good match. But it was Mamanoth who picked up the win with the pinfall. But however, SetUp Pro Wrestling does have one of those 24/7 belts, kind of like what WWE did back then, and of course the hardcore belt. Well, they have this one too. Uh, I don't know who's in fact the winners, but I'm kind of a bit of a loss. So I put that in my notes just to let you guys know. Our next match is a title match. Now this is a title belt. I don't know which is it. It's defended by Shivam, who is their top guy. He faced against Miles Karu. I don't know who he is. But, however, the match was pretty good and intensified. It was exactly what I've hoped for. But it was Shivam who picked up the win when he applied the Brainbuster. So that kind of lays it out. Now, our next match, we have a tag team match. I don't know the name of the wrestlers, but I can tell you the name of the tag team. We have Jim Bros and then Good Deal. Good Deal are the current SetUp tag team champions. So they defended their belts against, of course, Jim Bros. But however, this match ended in a double pinfall, and just like that, it was completely over. Our next match is a three-way match for the SetUp women's title. We have Raku versus Pam Harajuku versus Natcha. Natcha was the original female wrestler in Thailand that made a difference, and now she's the women's champion. But she has to face against Pam Harajuku and Raku. Now, however, Matcha does not need to be pinned or submitted in order to lose the match. But however, Matcha was able to pin Raku, and just like that, it was over. And then all hell broke loose when Pam got in her face. So basically, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, that's where it leads. And now our next match is for the SetUp Openweight title. We have D.A. Butcherman versus Jonathan Johnson. Pretty good match. I wasn't too sure where they're going to fit in, but Johnson applied a Swanton bomb, and just like that, he retained the belt. Our next match, we have Paskar versus Keno from Pro Wrestling Noah. So yes, this was a hard-feeling match. I loved it. I think this is one of my favorite matches. But Keno, as always, being the badass that he is, he picked up the victory when he applied the professional foot stomp, and just like that, it was over. So yeah, it's great to see wrestlers that we know. But it was interesting that members of Tokyo Pro Wrestling and Noah were participating with SetUp, because we know SetUp are part of the Asian Pacific Alliance. But, well, that's how it goes from there. But for now, we'll just end things here from there. Let's move on with our last fun review, NXT. Today is the day. You might have saw at the beginning, before the start of the review, a brand new NXT logo. So that's right, folks, a brand new logo. I have to say, not bad, you know. I'm not too broken up about it. I mean, it has like the same kind of features as the one we just recently had, but good thing it wasn't that rainbow one that we had a while back with 2.0, which I was not okay with. But this one, I can live with. Now, of course, they were in Chicago. We did have a surprise visit from Shawn and then Triple H. And of course, they did like their little DX thingy that they used to do back in the day. But however, they unveiled brand new championships for both the NXT men's and women's titles. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, our very first opening match is the NXT women's title. We have Julia versus Roxanne Perez. Of course, now Roxanne Perez, you would think she's afraid of Julia. She knows it. But one thing that people don't know about Julia, and I don't think Roxanne as knows it, we know she has these stiff striking moves, but she likes to soften up her opponents outside the ring. I don't know if Roxanne Perez actually knew that. That's her end game. That's who she is. But however, you would have thought this match would have fallen in favor in Julia. Nope. A mysterious figure showed up and DDT'd her in the mat outside the ring and then tossed her back, allowing for Roxanne Perez to, of course, to do the Pops Rock and won the match. And of course, she's going to gloat with CM Punk saying that now she owns Chicago and that no one can beat her. But I know one thing. Julia is not going to take this kindly. She will go after Cora Jade. Now, speaking of, the mean girl, well, she's going to get her ass handed to her. But she decided to say she likes this Roxanne Perez better. Well, let's see how it is, because right now, sooner or later, Roxanne Perez has to deal with Stephanie Vakir. And then if she doesn't beat her, if somehow she's successful with her, she may have to face Delta. But we'll see where that goes from there. Now, of course, CM Punk was talking about with Leslie King. He interrupted him while he was talking to Ava. Now, he wasn't being cocky, but CM Punk was giving him like some words of advice. You can win by any cost. I'll do it the right way. So basically, he was giving him the choice. So we'll see about that. Now, we did see, of course, Lola Vice and Jada Parker. Well, they're not in the same page, but of course, Kelani Jordan knows that they are dealing with a bunch of girls who claim, oh, people like Kelani Jordan are rookies who are stealing the spotlight. Well, she said something that she had a backup plan. I don't know what she meant by that, but nonetheless, that's how it is. And then, of course, we have the debut of Miz TV. He interviews Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo. Now, of course, the same old thing about the North American title, so we'll get to that at some other point. Now, of course, we jump into our match with Jada Parker and Lola Vice versus the Bad Influence consistent of JC Jane and Fallon Henley. Well, of course, there'll be some dirty tactics coming in. And, of course, there was a moment where Lola Vice accidentally slammed into Jada Parker and she left, leaving Lola Vice by herself. And, of course, it was Fallon Henley who picked up the win. And then calling out Kelani Jordan. Now, Booker T thinks that he's been ducking her. Nope. But apparently Kelani Jordan had a plan, and that plan is the current women tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And of course, Fatal Influence cannot believe that they have been outstaged. They felt that the spotlight should be them, and now the spotlight is going this way. So that's what they get for saying that the spotlight should have been theirs. Now, our main event is the NXT title with special guest referee CM Punk. Now, Punk did state it. It's going to be down the middle. No favoritism until someone wins the match. Now, of course, I'm sure Ethan Page did everything by the book in order to win the match at any cost. And Trick, who's determined to win back the belt, that, of course, he wasn't the one who lost, but he lost the belt regardless. He did the same thing too. Now, there was a moment where Trick got accidentally almost hurt Punk, but he had to shield him, knowing too well that Ethan Page would try to do something stupid, because it's no secret Ethan Page takes out the refs, and then all of a sudden it only took one shot by Trick to take out Ethan Page, and Trick shot, he beats him 1, 2, 3, new NXT champion 2-time. So that's how we roll in with NXT. So can't wait to see what else will happen until then. But for now, oh, wait a minute, did I miss something? Oh yes, I messed up, my bad. The Chicago street fight, I forgot, yeah. Wesley versus Zachary Wentz. Well, oh man, that match was effing brutal. Just brutal, guys, all sorts of weapons and all this and that. So, but there was a moment, I think many of you saw this in that match, where Zach was supposed to hit the table, but he missed. I was like, oh god. But however, everything went well until Wesley used the chains on Zachary Wentz and just won. So basically for Wesley, he believes that this is the end of his story with Zach and he moves on. But I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Miguel returns and deal with him. So we'll see what that happens. So Sorry that I missed out on the street fight, but a good thing I remember myself. But for now, we're just end things right here with NXT and move on with news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with, of course, upcoming events from the promotions, and of course we have a few stacked with GCW. So let's start with those. As you know, there's going to be a 2-day event in Atlantic City for Fight Club. For night 1 on the 12th of October, we have, of course, Cole Radrick will be making his appearance there. And on night 2, there's a match has been announced: Rina Yamashita versus Blake Christian. So that's going to be a little bit interesting to see. And then, of course, another name has been announced for, of course, the NGI, and I think I might what the the NGI 9 Nick Gage Invitational. So we have, of course, let me pull that up. Yeah, Violento Jack will be involved in that particular event. So, yeah. Now, Sendai Girls will be doing another event on the 14th of October in Sapporo. The full card has been announced, in case anybody wondering about that. Let me pull that up. Yes. Oh, no. Alright, so we have Miyuki Takase versus Yuna, Zones and Hiroyo Matsumoto versus Ryu Mizunami and Manami, Chi-Chi versus Mika Iwata again. It's going to be very interesting. Miyu Momono and Yurika Oka, better known as Baba Momo Banana, versus Meiko Satomura and Dash Shizako. And of course, our main event is the Sendai Girls World Tag Team titles. Team 200 kilograms, Yu and Big Hash will take on Stardom's very own Hate, consisting of Natsuko Tora and Raka. Now, as you may know, New Japan will be making their way to the UK for Royal Quest on the 20th of October. They announced Mina Shirakawa will be teaming up with Kanji, taking on the former Rev Pro Undisputed Women's Champion Dani Luna, and she teams up with Azumi. MLW has announced for the Lucha Apocalypto on the 9th of November. Cesar Duran makes his return, and then Ultimo Guerrero has been announced. Finally, on the 17th of November, Deadlock Pro Wrestling announced a brand new show coming out on the 17th of November called World's Strongest, and it's going to take place in Jersey City, New Jersey. Now, for our development, this is our only one. Many of you may know, apparently, I recently reported that Journey Fatu, the brother of Jacob Fatu, was missing. Well, apparently, someone posted this online about Journey Fatu being missing. However, Chris Brooks, I have to say, I give him credit for putting the record straight. It turns out that Journey Fatu being missing was just a work. Yeah. So basically, he posted this on his X account, and this is what he says: "Hey everyone, this is a work, an entirely ignorant work. To anyone involved in this, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Delete it. Apologize, and never do anything dumb shit like this again. I don't care what GR code leads to. Take a look through the comments, quotes. Sadly, you'll see people who have been misled. I'm so embarrassed to see this, especially when loved ones across the country are actually missing from real tragedy. It's shame on everyone sharing this effort to push a dumbass story." So it turns out that the whole Journey Fatu is not real, so it's part of a storyline. So I get it. I don't know. I feel like they should have done this better, in my opinion. But however, I said this just recently. I give Chris Hero credit that he actually put it out there. So basically, I'm here to correct what exactly about that report. But I'm glad that it was put out in the open, and I hope everybody can hear that too. So for now, we'll just leave things as it is, and we just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up, we have AEW Dynamite. Cannot remember exactly what's going to happen. And also, as we speak, we have the latest Stardom event in Corkin Hall. These are prelims before this coming weekend. As you know, Tam Nakano defends the red belt against Zuzu, Natsupoi against Tekla for the white belt, that sort of thing. So we'll see what happens. Now, I haven't decided yet what other events I want to pursue to review, but we will see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is, and we'll move forward from there. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.